Welcome to the VVBGA UVM Extension Spring Webinar Series. Today, we're pleased to be learning about the services that Farm First provides to help farmers deal with stress. I'll turn it over to Leanne Porter. Take it away.
Hi, I'm Leanne Porter. I'm here with Valerie Woodhouse. I'm going to share my screen. I am not a screen sharing expert, but I'll make it work. Okay. I don't know how many of you have heard of Farm First before, but we will talk quite a bit about it. Again, I'm Leanne Porter. I'm with Farm First and also Farsan NE Northeast. If you don't know what that is, don't worry, because we will get to that today. And Valerie Woodhouse from Honeyfield Farm. Do you want to introduce yourself, Valerie?
Sure. Hi, I'm Valerie. Me and my partner Eli have a organic vegetable farm in Norwich, Vermont, where we do.
And they have a lovely brand new website, and this wasn't on the original slides, but this is going to be available to everybody. And I just really wanted to show how beautiful it is. They did such a great job. This is their website. You should definitely visit. Lovely. So yes, that's Valerie. And so this is the agenda for today. We'll talk about Farm First, talk about what Farsan NE is. We are very excited here in Vermont to be developing the peer network. So we'll talk about that. And if anybody's interested in becoming a farmer peer, we'll talk about that. And we have a virtual event coming up that we'll tell you about. That is the agenda for the day. So who we are at Farm First. For over 10 years, we've been resources for farmers and their families regarding stress, offering referrals and short-term counseling. We'll discuss the unique stressors of farming and the resources available to strengthen resilience, including the new Farmer Peer Network. Yay! So glad you're here. So we're a Vermont-based public program formed to provide farmers and their families with support, resources, and information to reduce stress. As I said, all of this is available on our website, all of this information I'm sharing, which I will show you also soon. We're supported by the Agency of Agriculture, Food and Markets, and Invest EAP, Centers for Wellbeing. We're a public non-for-profit program. Our staff includes licensed counselors and an agricultural resource coordinator, all with an interest and experience in agriculture. We can assist you remotely through video conferencing and in person, oftentimes right on the farm. And like I said, we're developing this peer network, which will be a more casual way to interface, which I'm so excited about. So our services are free to all Vermont farmers and family members. So we're here to help. We'll give you lots of information about how to get involved and how to contact us. So Valerie, do you want to say anything about your experience with Farm First?
Sure. So I first learned about Farm First last year. My other professional background has been in studying social work and working in community mental health. And since farming, I've been really interested, I guess should say since transitioning to full-time farming, I've been really interested in seeing how those two interests can combine. And Farm First seems like, you know, an agency that's already been doing this work. For myself, I've been both a farm worker and now a farm owner, and recognize, even as someone with professional training in mental health, I still struggle daily with balancing my, personal well-being with the demands of the farm, and recognizing things like financial stress, employee management, doing all the business planning and oversight as farmers mostly who do not have business degrees and enjoy working with their hands, not on the computer. There's just so many uncontrolled factors that we deal with on a daily basis, like weather, pests, or fluctuating markets. And I had the pleasure of getting to be part of a peer network through the Intervale Center that was, a group that only met even once a year. And those 2 hour long meetings are some of the most refreshing experiences I have as a farmer, to realize I'm not alone and that I'm not the only person experiencing this level of workload and these unique daily stressors. So this project, felt really near to and dear to my heart, both personally as a farmer who could benefit from these programs, but also, as a professional interested in seeing how these two worlds come together.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I'm just going to really quickly go to the Farm First website so you all can see the resources we have there. Like we're talking about, we have lots of hands-on, interpersonal things available, but we also have a lot of resources here. One being, if you look under the mental health tab, we have these self-assessments, which are pretty cool because you can take an anxiety assessment, an alcohol assessment, or a depression assessment. And what this does is you can go through and take this sort of test. And at the end, you get sort of some advisement about where you stand with anxiety and stress. So that's kind of cool. Lots of resources here. So check it out. Spend some time on our website. There's so much there to see and do. So like I said, I'm going to tell you what Farsan is. Farsan stands for Farm and Ranch Stress Assistance Network, and we're a part of this network in the Northeast. They have it all over the country, but this is the Northeast sector. And it's a program that establishes a network that connects to individuals who are engaged in farming, ranching, and other agricultural related occupations to stress assistance programs like Farm First. The establishment of this network assists farmers and ranchers in the time of stress, can offer a conduit to improving behavioral health awareness, literacy, and outcomes for agricultural producers, workers, and their families. So I just wanted to share this because so you know when you see these terms floating around what it means, and to point out that there is a lot happening nationally as well as locally for farmer assistance around stress. The network's made up of working groups and cohorts that are about all different topics. There's one for BIPOC farmers, there's one for specifically for mental health. There's an advisory team for the whole network. And there's a farmer specific advisory team, which Valerie is a part of. Do you want to say anything about that, Valerie?
Sure. Yes, I feel really grateful to be able to serve on the Farsan Northeast Farmer Advisory Board, which has been meeting since, I believe, last May or last June. We're coming into our second year together. And in that work, it's really rewarding and it's really inspiring because Farsan as a national program really is looking to farmers, both farm workers and farm owners, and farmers from all areas. There's this is the most diverse group I've ever been part of, with both migrant farm workers and people who are farm managers, farm owners, and they are taking into account what we identify as stressors to address, but also how to communicate and reach farmers in the most accessible way. So it's been a really positive experience for me.
Great. And there's a lot more information available about that network. If you go to Young Farmers, if you actually Google Farsan, you'll find all kinds of things, but the Young Farmers website has information, and Farm Aid has a lot of information and resources from Farsan. So yay, peer network. This is really what I wanted to talk about today. It's very exciting that Farm First has gotten this far along in creating a peer network. And now we really want to recruit people that want to be mentors for farmers who want to be mentors for other farmers. So we're working with the agricultural community so that we can connect farmers with other farmers. And we're hoping to train peer mentors. We just call them peers, but so that farmers can have somebody to call up or invite someone over and have a conversation about the stress that they're going through. So we're looking for farmers to take that step with us. If you're interested in becoming a mentor, all we're asking is for people to sign up for a 6-hour virtual training. And that training will begin in this March. It'll be something like every other week for 2 hours until we get to the 6 hours. If you sign up for that training, those hours will be paid by Farm First. You'll be paid to do the training. I can't tell you the amount right now, and I can't tell you the exact dates, but this information will be coming very soon. So if you want to sign up to just learn more or hear more about it, these are the things you'll be trained in. Resources available, how to connect your fellow farmers with resources, and just listening skills and how to make people feel heard and share stories about stress. Okay. So if you're interested, you can go to our website anytime. Andrea Grayson, you can contact her, or you can just go right on and fill out an application and we'll be in touch with you and you'll be all set to become a peer or to take that first 6 hours. After the 6 hours, you'll have an opportunity to decide then if you want to move on, which would mean another 6 hours of training, and then you'll be an actual peer in Vermont, or to not. If you've had the training and you think maybe it's not for you, then that's a time that you can back out. It's fine. So lots more information about this. On February 10th from 9 to 10 o'clock, we'll have a community event regarding the agricultural community. So farmers can connect with other farmers. You can learn more about Farm First, learn about the peer support network, and get information about how to be involved with farmers. You all have had a lot of this information already in this, but this would be a great time to meet with other farmers and to check in and talk about stress a little bit with lots of farmers. And also, if you want to learn more about the peer support network, or if you're interested in being a peer, then definitely pop in. It's just an hour. So if you go onto our website, farmfirst.org/events, that's an opportunity for you to sign up right there. You can contact myself, Leanne Porter at farmfirst.org. I'll make sure, no, sorry, Leanne P at farmfirst.org. I will put that in the slides as well, the updated version of the slides. So actually here it is in the slides. Oops, did it again. So that's that information. So that's the slideshow, but I really want to hear a little bit more from Valerie if we have time, about sort of what do you see as the stressors that you have on your farms that you might want to reach out to a peer mentor regarding?
Oh, the list is long, Leanne. If I could think of all the stressors. I mean, I think that what's great about this is that Farm First is going to match people who have similar lived or farming experiences, right? So for me, it would be really helpful for me to talk to someone who had either been, I think a lot of my personal stressors are around purchasing a existing farm and scaling up really quickly and taking that kind of jump versus for other people, even just beginning to find land access might be a really big stressor, or taking on your first employees can be a huge stressor. I know for a lot of people, employee management is one of the most difficult parts of the business. I think having someone that you can talk to honestly about your financial stressors is really important, because as farmers, the margins are low, and especially, right now, me and my partner are getting sticker shock at how much more our supplies are costing us this season than they did even last year, when it was more expensive than the year before. So having someone that I can talk to say, like, what are you doing? Are you raising your prices? How are you going to reflect the environment changing? For some people, it might be talking about, talking to someone who's experienced flooding or drought issues and adapting to climate change on your piece of land. So I think the stressors are there's so many things to be stressed out about on the farm. But
And
those are
things that only farmers get, right? In some cases.
yeah, and I think that especially sometimes the best part of talking to other farmers is just that I'm sure as a farmer, or even someone who's worked on a farm, there's so many times in your life when like the people who you love, you know, your friends and family, um, just don't really understand or are like, you should just take a vacation or just take the weekend off, or you shouldn't be staying up till midnight working. And it's just like, you know, no, I want someone to validate, yeah, in the beginning I was out in the barn washing greens till midnight before farmers market every week. That's normal. That's something you learn and get through. So those, I think the lived experience of farming is really unique, and it's just super validating when people can reflect that, you know, we're not making this up, or we're not making our lives harder than they could be. Some cases we probably are, but just that, you know, these are um, pieces of this work we've chose to be in.
Vern, do we have time for questions, or do we
Oh,
need to?
absolutely.
Okay, if anybody has any questions, you can put it in the chat, or you can pop right in and ask questions. And while you're thinking about doing that, I just want to very quickly introduce you to, I'm not supposed to because she's here just as a guest, but the manager of Farm First happens to be on the call with us. That is Karen Crawley. Karen, do you have anything you want to add?
I was actually just about to type into the chat. First of all, I answered Vern's question in the chat, and we probably want to touch on that so that other people are sure to hear about that retired part. But the other thing I was just going to type in is that Farm First website will soon have on it an employment potential for people. So keep your eyes out there if you're interested in finding out how to work with Farm First. And other than that, no, just thanks to Leanne and Valerie for providing all of this information. And I'm glad you're all here.
Any other questions?
Well, my question had been about whether you have to be an active farmer, or if, you know, retired people who have gone through all these things that Valerie pointed out and maybe want to give something back, help young farmers. They could be a good audience for the peer network, I think.
Yeah, a retired farmer is an excellent person to be a peer mentor. Absolutely. We would absolutely love that, to have people who have had that experience and now have some time on their hands where they can talk to other farmers. That would be great. Welcome, welcome. Yes.
Another thought I just had as you were talking, Valerie, is, I mean, this is a wonderful set of services that you offer, Farm First in general. And I think a lot of people turn to things like this, like when they're reaching crisis level, whereas, you know, the maintenance earlier is so important, right, to prevent that happening and feel supported. But yet it's hard to think, just say, I'm under stress, I want to talk to someone. You know, you lifted up some like really specific things. I'm struggling with managing the people I work with, or wow, my financials are not what I thought they would be. And I'm just wondering if our VVBGA community and this, whether it's webinars, other things, could be a platform to assist with Farm First, because I could see going at it by a subject matter approach and letting the stress reveal itself kind of, rather than the other way around. So yeah, when Hans and others have put together employee management things under produce safety, wow, they're really well attended and resonate with people and they want more. But just some of the things, like put a title on it, you know, coping. I think Hans has actually signed up for this spring's webinar to do something about employees. I think they called it, you know, supporting your crew or something like that. But it could be a title like coping with managing employees, or dealing with the stress of being an HR supervisor, or yeah, understanding, getting through the financials in the early years of farming, and sort of let the support group, you know, emerge from that, maybe offered as a non-recorded webinar where people can start to talk, but I could actually see a group like then coming together perhaps out of some of the, especially if people talk for several weeks at a time and self-identify, yeah, there's 3 or 4 things we want to talk about employees, or, so I'm just thinking out loud here, but I think one challenge will be when it's so general, like we can help you with stress versus I'm having this problem. Oh, there's a webinar. They're going to talk about it. Like I'm in the middle of it right now. That's the way we've done it with production stuff too, right? You hold a greenhouse, seedling transplant production webinar. Right. If you do it in April, people show up. If you do it in, another time, not same thing with strawberries or whatever. So that
great ideas, and a great place
to the things
a great place to start would be,
with.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Vern. Fantastic ideas. A good place to start would be February 10th at 9 o'clock. If people could come and share their, we'll talk a little bit more about what the direct stressors are. And from there, we can develop all kinds of things and talks and webinars. I love it. We're generating a lot of excitement. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically I'm offering like, let's use this platform and the VVBGA group, and, for the organic dairy people whose markets are in like that could be a different group. And that's where I see it gets a little tricky if you start to have people that have like really different things going on. It's interesting, but it isn't as compelling to create a cohort of around, organic milk marketing versus managing greenhouse labor.
Well, the best scenario would be that we have all different types of farmers from all over the state, so people can sort of pick and choose the farmer they call up based on sort of what their specific needs are. So hopefully we'll get enough people interested to do that.
And I hear in like the point Vern is also pointing out, because I think that that angle of kind of maybe using the peers to, I don't want to use the word infiltrate a workshop like that, but something of that nature of like, hey, peers, we're going to go here, is just one thing I notice is farmers don't feel like they had the time to sit down and talk about why they're stressed, but they might feel like they have the time to learn something specific that they're like, I can directly apply this to my farm life, like employing the managing the employees or something like that. So I like getting creative to kind of not trick people into coming, but almost, farmers are busy people, and I think historically don't really prioritize their own mental health or well-being. So making it seem like, oh, I'm going to get something out of this, even though validation and support I think are important enough, they might be more encouraged to come if they're thinking they're getting something else out of it too.
Absolutely.
This is Karen, and I'm just in response to what you were just saying, Valerie. One of the things that we know from just the call center at Farm First is that farmers do not usually reach out saying, I'm looking for support with my emotional well-being and mental health. They usually reach out saying, I'm stressed by finances, or I've got these legal situations going on. And then you start to talk, and of course, the well-being is all wrapped up in all of that. But you're absolutely right. They need oftentimes to feel like there's something concrete that makes it important enough. Hopefully, I think that's true across our culture in many ways, that people are, that stigma around mental health. I shouldn't tell anybody that I'm struggling. Hopefully, we'll continue to push against that, and it won't be so hard for people. But in the meantime, you all have great ideas and insight as to what's going to work for us to make the connections that can be most helpful. So we'll just pull them all in for sure.
Hello, all. I'd like to comment on a thought based on my personal experiences with my farm family and the aging process. I learned how to obtain help for my mother with long-term care, and that was quite a learning experience. So I have a skill I could offer to the community, to farm families in a practical way. And I'm sure each of you know yourselves some of these hard to learn subjects. and other people have expertise in it through the time that they've invested in learning. So I would ask for help to create a database of volunteers with specific skill sets, particularly with the elder care subject, because that is very time consuming and expensive, and well, no one else is going to do it, so you do it. There's a zero tolerance for not taking care of that. So thanks for listening and all you're doing. I'm just joining today to learn more and see if I can offer my help.
Nice, nice. Bill, do you use email?
Yep.
Could you email me so we could touch base? That would be great. Leanne P@farmfirst.org.
Okay, I've got it. Thank you.
Great to see you, Bill. Thanks for sharing that. I've been through that myself not too long ago, so I know it is complicated and tough. And then on the other end of the spectrum, we have so many farmers with young kids that are trying to, balance that and childcare and pandemic. And I'm sure, people will be supported by a group of people with that shared challenge.
Some of our experience in working with peer networks in a variety of different areas is that sometimes what people are looking for is very practical support. It's not that thing that they need practical support for might be causing them some stress, but how did you get such a great buy on that? Where did that come from? That kind of conversation between peers can be super helpful. Oh yeah, I actually know somebody that's not using their tractor and whatever. And those things take off a lot of stress. If you feel like you're not alone with things, that's tremendously, tremendously helpful. However it works, the whole peer development network for Farm First in looking towards farmers is definitely something brand new for us. And one of the reasons that we're not telling you exactly when the training will be and how many hours and how far apart is because the people who are wanting to participate should be informing us about the best ways for that to work for them. So, it'll evolve and who knows where we'll end up, but we'll end up wherever it is that we need to end up with as much input as we can get.
So my internet is starting to die. So I keep sort of popping out. So if there aren't any other questions, please contact us. The more we hear from you, the better, the more information we can share. And thank you so much for being here. Valerie, Karen, any last thoughts? You good?
Well, we can keep putting the word out, through our networks. And I think especially once there's names to put out of here are some peers, people maybe know those names or somebody else says, hey, I talked to that person and it was helpful. I think it'll get some traction. So thank you again.
We will definitely be in touch with you, Vern. Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you for putting this service together. So important. And if there are no further questions, we'll call it a day on our first webinar. Thanks for kicking off the series and looking forward to moving into pollinators after this, which I'm starting to think maybe having healthy pollinators on your farm could be a stress alleviating strategy, Laura. It's a whole new angle for you. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.